Hey, what's good guys? Jay here with another video. Now, if you saw my Galaxy Note 8 unboxing, then you know this video was coming eventually. I did actually record a whole video and I edited, but then I realized, you know what, I'm kind of all over the place, so I want to redo the video. Here I am. Well, aesthetically, the Galaxy Note 8 is a beautiful device. I have the Orchid Gray and I do see a lot of fingerprints on this thing, but I really don't look at the back too much. The front is where the party's at. This thing has a 6.3-inch Quad HD Plus display, packed in a resolution of 1440 by 2960. To protect this device, Samsung is using Corning Gorilla Glass 5, both front and back, and during my time with this device, I've seen a few scratches, but it hasn't broken yet. Samsung is using their Super AMOLED technology, and this thing is ridiculously bright. Colors are awesome, and honestly, I think it's the best display in the market. In fact, when I first started using the Galaxy Note 8, I noticed that it got way brighter than any other phone I've used before. Unfortunately, Samsung is sticking to adding the Bixby button on the side of this thing, and well, you can at least disable it now so you don't accidentally launch Bixby every now and then when you reach for your phone in your pocket. For anyone that might be wondering, yes, there is a headphone jack, water and dust resistance, you got it, IP68, fingerprint reader, a little hard to reach, but it's there and you can get used to that. We also get a heart rate monitor out in the back, S Pen, of course, it wouldn't be a Note without the S Pen, stereo speakers, maybe next year. Overall, I think the design is great. I give it a thumbs up. Now, I do recommend you get a case or a screen protector because it's glass, and glass only does one thing, break. My only minor complaint with the design is really just the fingerprint reader, which you've heard a million times, but it really is a little hard to reach on this thing. It's really tall, so getting the fingerprint reader is a little hard. Use the iris scanner, I guess. With a premium device like this, you can expect to pay premium price. And this thing is a whopping $900+. Now, if you're gonna force yourself to eat top ramen for like 2 weeks, then you want something not only looks and feels good, but performs well too. So let's take a look at the software and the performance. Internally, you're gonna find the Snapdragon 835, which is the latest from Qualcomm. You get 6 GB of RAM, which is the first for Samsung, an Adreno 540 GPU for gaming, Android 7.1.1 as of this video, and with things like expandable memory and gigabit LTE speeds, you can expect this thing to perform like a boss. And like a boss it does. One thing that caught me by surprise was just how many apps this thing was able to keep in memory. So if you can resist the urge to close all your recent apps, then you'll find yourself waiting less for these apps to load. Samsung Experience 8.5 is what Samsung calls their software on top of Android, and while it's not perfect, it's definitely getting really good. I didn't notice much as far as performance issues or software issues, minor things here and there, but overall it performed like a champ. In the software, you'll also find Bixby, which is a virtual assistant, just kidding, making sure you're paying attention, a virtual assistant which is capable of performing some very complex tasks for you. So if you wanted to read your messages, it will. If you wanted to mark all your messages read, it will. If you wanted to turn on the flashlight, it will. Now those don't sound very complex, but when you tell it to take the last photo from your gallery, send it to your friend Mark in a message, things start to get a little complex there. Bixby can also be used in the camera, and this is known as Bixby Vision now. Basically what it does is analyzes a subject and gives you shopping results or related images. Now this is definitely in the infant stages because it doesn't really work that well, but I think it's a good idea and hopefully it gets better over time. Now we can't talk about software without talking about that S Pen. The S Pen has really grown on me and it plays a huge role in this phone. Little by little I started using it more and more for things like notes and drawing, or even simply just scrolling through things, which is a little weird, but it just felt right. For a smartphone, no one does a pen like Samsung, so if you haven't played with an S Pen, I recommend you go to the store, just give it a shot, check out all the cool things you can do with this thing. You'll find yourself really wanting one after that. As far as software and performance, I think it's a go. With things like the S Pen and all these features you get, it's really hard to complain, so they're both really good. But you know what else is really good? The camera. Let's check those out. So if you've seen my review on the Galaxy S8, then you know that I think it's the second best camera on a smartphone. Well, things are actually starting to change. So I've played with other new devices and yeah, let me tell you about it. Samsung now uses 2 sensors on this device. Both are 12 megapixel sensors, both with OIS. One of them is a 2x zoom lens, while the other is supposed to be a wide angle lens. It looks very normal to me. The main sensor has an f-stop of 1.7, which allows more light, while the second sensor has an f2.4, but this really gives you a nice bokeh effect. So now that there's another sensor, I think as far as Android phones go, this one takes the cake. I have been testing other devices like I said, and more recently the iPhone 8 Plus. I'm having a hard time trying to decide which camera is better, but I'm still taking a look at that. This thing is quick to launch, ridiculous to focus, and delivers amazing shots almost every time. If you shoot in auto mode like most people do, you're gonna get some amazing shots. And if you use the second sensor, one click is gonna give you some professional looking photos and you're gonna be like, whoa, I took that? Now, I can't say the front is gonna give you the same results. It's an 8 megapixel sensor and it's okay if you're gonna upload to Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and all that fun stuff, but don't expect professional looking photos out of that sensor. Now, we all knew Samsung was gonna nail this one. We see this year after year after year. We saw it coming a mile away. So what we were more concerned about is having a ticking time bomb in our pockets. I'm just kidding. Samsung does a 9-point inspection on these things, so it's not gonna explode on you. But we do wanna know how that battery performs. So how was the battery life? With a 3,300 milliamp battery, I had my doubts considering the Galaxy S8 Plus has a bigger battery, a smaller display, and doesn't have an S Pen. But of course, they need to make room for that pen. So I think it's a fair trade-off, and personally, I think the battery life is pretty good. I consider myself a bit of a heavy user and not many phones can get me through a day. Unfortunately, the Galaxy Note 8 couldn't do it, which is kind of a bummer, but it actually is a really good battery, and let me tell you why. I use my phone a lot throughout the day, and considering the size of the display, the resolution, and how bright this thing gets, I was surprised to be getting 5+ hours of screen on time. If you need some juice during the day, all you gotta do is plug it in. You get quick charging, you get wireless charging, you get fast wireless charging. Just a few minutes of charging gets you hours of battery life, so I think it's really good. Now keep in mind everyone's usage is different, but unfortunately for me it didn't make it past the day and I can't charge in my car wirelessly because it's too big, it just doesn't fit. So I can't give this one the go for myself, but I'm sure a lot of people are going to be okay with it because if it got me 5+ hours, then I'm sure a lot of people are going to get a whole day. Now let's get into some standout features and see how Samsung plans to make this your next smartphone. Alright, so the reason the Galaxy Note 8 is called a Note is because of the S Pen, and I mentioned it before, Samsung does it right. There is no other phone that's going to do it better. Their Galaxy Note lineup does the pen the way it's supposed to be done on a smartphone. I mentioned that the display gets really bright and it's really the brightest I've seen on a smartphone today. You get the wireless charging, expandable memory, you get the iris scanning, water and dust resistance. There is a gang of features, so no shortage of features here. I think it's a well worth purchase if you ask me. So as far as features go, this one definitely gets the pass because it has so many features in there, I can't even count them all, so definitely a pass. So the Galaxy Note 8 nails 4 out of the 5 things I look for in a smartphone. If you would ask me if I recommend this to anyone, well, I would recommend it to almost everyone. Now I say almost because if you want to save a few bucks, then the Galaxy S8 Plus is also a really solid choice. You of course would be sacrificing the second lens, which makes you feel like a real photographer, the S Pen, which adds a lot of functionality, and the added RAM, which makes this thing fly. So if you're looking to snag yourself a Galaxy Note 8 and you can afford it, by all means, buy one. You won't be disappointed, and honestly, there's really not much wrong with this device. But if it doesn't fit your budget, then get a Galaxy S8 Plus or even an S8. Those phones are also really well and they share a lot of similarities, so you'll be really happy with any of those devices. As always, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to some of you guys, and don't forget to leave some feedback. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Also, if you want to show your boys some love, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace.